War II Combat Edition. Okay. Kagan and Russian Army versus ViTy and ragner. Warcraft tiggly 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 2, ladies and jiggly gentlemen. Russian Army with the extra awesome biggity paws of diggity doom. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Kagan in the biggity blue, Russian Army. This is up here, top versus biggity bottom, ladies and jiggly gentlemen. Kagan, Russian Army versus Ragner and ViTy. Welcome, Warcraft 2 fans. This is going to be the most epic game we've ever seen. Russian Army teaming up with Kagan, taking on ViTy and Ragner. This game taking place 4 years ago. Wowzers. Many years in the past this game happened here. So ViTy and Ragner just insane today, but maybe 4 years ago, maybe they weren't so good. No, not likely. It's going to be incredible. Check out the Watchers' meaty ways of making meaty Watcher mini maps on the world of Nowhere to Run. Spacebo to the Russians for putting this game into play. Spacebo to Kagan, the most greatest of all Wiki Warcraft 2 admins ever. Mistral says something in riggedy Russian. Spacebo to Mistral. Wiki 2 years ago, he was wowzers, even sending messages out to everybody, and a big shout out to Mistral. Spacebo to Ill. Spacebo to Mistral. Alright, up here in the north it is Kagan, in the biggity blue, starting to build his biggity barracks. No Aragorn on this map here, so likely not going to be the Grunt Rush. It's going to be pretty classic strategies here. So far, so good at this game here. And the Russians and the Ukrainians as they play Wiki Warcraft Tiggly 2. Alright, here's the first catapult. Second biggity barracks underway. This is ViTy and Ragner down here. And it is actually gonna be Grunt Rushes. Wowzers on the rush here. Is he? Will there be a wall off in time? Ragner is ready. So is ViTy. They're gonna be Grunt rushing their opponents. And here comes the rush. First grunt in there, wall off, not in time, and he just sets up shop, the level 1 grunt, and just having a field day of it, ladies and gentlemen. Wowzers, that one grunt paying off in spades, as it now can just sit there and deal damage. So there's the catapult. So one player ViTy going for the grunt rush and Ragner going for the catapult assault. Level 2 catapults at that in their combined bombardment. He's going to now begin to deal damage to his opponent's buildings, which are within range of his catapult fire here. And first and foremost, looks like they're going to try to bust down that wall off, and that's exactly what's going to happen here with the level 2 catapults. Going to continuously biggity burn down that biggity big farm there, ladies and jiggly gentlemen. Here comes the catapult assault from combined Russian Army and Kagan assaults here, but once again, the focus of the assault is just on that catapult out there and just skirting right out of range there, and going to launch a devastating, but how many catapults is they going to be able to deal with the miggity micro of a single catapult from Riggedy Ragner? Ladies and jiggly gentlemen, what's the end result? Here comes some catapults from our hero ViTy. So ViTy is going to be entering the scene with some catapults here. And now Ragner doubling down on his level 2 catapults here, and that's going to scare off the forces of Kagan, at least for the miggity moment, ladies and jiggly gentlemen. And a very aggressive, but Kagan with 3, count them, 3 volleys of artillery fire, all ready just to destroy in a single volley. Ragner going to pause the game. He didn't like that loss. That was incredible. Probably got a phone call, and then they are now back to the action, back to the game. This game just insane. Chicky, wiki, Warcraft Tiggly 2. And there's the destruction of the Russian army catapult. But Kagan's still there with his double down of his catapult, but the level 2 catapult fire, and that's when the new catapult pops on out and destroys the last remaining catapult of Ragner. Ragner and ViTy not looking so hot now, but actually there's a very good volley from ViTy as he now brings in his own catapults to help even the score. He's got the grunts just ready and waiting to go pour through any kind of a breach that does happen. This is boiling down to who chops the liggity last of the Wiki Warcraft 2 Wiki Wood that happens to be there. OMG, it's open, says ViTy, talking in English. They're talking in English. What? These Russian players talking in English to one another. ViTy talking, well, I suppose Ukraine and Russia, and then they speak to each other in English. That's funny. Wiki Warcraft Tiggly 2, Warcraft 2 fans. Close, says Ragner. Ragner's talking English. The Ukrainian and the Russian Warcraft 2 piggity players communicating in English on what call signs to do in this game. You need to close it on off. There's too many grunts of the Russian army just waiting to pour through that breach. And there's the perfectly placed artillery fire. And ViTy's going for the attack and then going for the defense. This game just insane. Who's gonna sticky land the victorious victory dance? It looks like Russian army gonna take the victory along with Kagan as ViTy. But wait, here comes the last minute dash effort from Ragner and ViTy. These two players just crush it today as they crush me in every single time we 1v1. OMG, ViTy, Riggedy, Ragner, 1v1, not fun to do against, believe me, I know, I have lost to them many a times. Many times. Alright, here comes the Russian army. The grunts just don't stop pouring in from Russian army, and ViTy and Ragner in a wee bit of trouble as Kagan continues to lay down the artillery fire, and the Russian army just doesn't stop producing those grunts, and they come pouring through the breach. There's the Joe, go, yo. Once again communicating in English with the Ukrainian and Russian teaming on up, communicating in English to try to defeat the Russian army, but the Russian army just has too many grunts pouring through, supported by the catapult fire of Kagan. Russian army has just blossomed into an unstoppable miggity machine here. There's the catapult fire from Kagan, just causing all the repair to be happening, and that's the GG. Actually, purple does seem like they have a handle on the situation, as does teal, and Kagan's catapults not doing so good, but really just keeping all the wood chopping not happening on their side. Kagan just happily chopping wood away here. He's up to tier number 2, probably wants to get the upgraded axe thrower vision. What? Definitely necessary to get inside this, where you can see IDEM. I have no idea what that means. I don't know if that's in Russian or English or even Korean. It could possibly be IDEM. I don't know what he means. But obviously they know, they speak the liggity lingo biggity better than me, as you can see. Here comes Kagan with level 2 tier 2 ogre technology on the scene. That's the GG, ladies and gentlemen, as they're not going to be able to everly uproot this. That's the GG. There it is. OMG. OM to the OMG. Ogres just pouring in here. All the peons stopped, just waiting to see what happens here. Grunt's gonna try to mitigate this situation here, but there's the guard tower not up in time. That's gonna be GG. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Tier number 3 on the way from Kagan. Kagan just dominates this wiki. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from Kagan game, as Kagan, admin extraordinaire, Ragner trying desperately to hold on out versus Kagan. Look at the miggity micro skills on Riggedy Ragner as he's able to utilize his peon defense squad, but his bloodlusted ogres on the table pretty dang soon for Kagan, as Kagan now decides to bring the full unmitigated power of the Kagan Russian army combo as his last ditch effort from Ragner. Look look at the defense on this guy. He's got a catapult last ditch effort, still managing to survive. Wowzers, what a game. Ladies and gentlemen, Kagan gonna have to bring in the bloodlusted ogres to finally put the last nail in the coffin, and you still got a game happening. Ladies and jiggly gentlemen, what an exciting special thanks spacebo to Nikita and IK5ET for that incredible wiki Warcraft 2 video.